NHL insider Elliot Freeman revealed a new trade detail surrounding Kiefer Sherwood and the Vancouver Canucks, with this detail feeling eerily similar to exactly what happened with Quinn Hughes before he was moved. It feels like a trade is imminent with the Canucks forward as they prioritize the future going into this draft. We're going to break down everything, including quotes from different insiders and an update as Patrik Allvin made multiple changes and moves to this roster. Now, the big thing is, before we get into this update on Kiefer Sherwood from Elliot Freeman and Jeff Merrick, I do want to dive into multiple moves that Patrik Allvin announced today with the Canucks. We can see that he announced that Victor Mancini and Tolopilo have been reassigned to the Abbotsford Canucks, with DPD and Yuri Patera being recalled under an emergency conditions. Now, the first thing I want to look at with this, Tolopilo is a name that a lot of Canucks fans like, myself included. But looking at this photo, of course, we've seen going into the second intermission a 0-0 game, and it feels like this is one of those unfortunate photos that, of course, the Canucks are always on the opposite side of, and Tolopilo allowed 6 goals. Now, with this, I don't want to put the blame on Tolopilo. Tolopilo is a young, undrafted goaltender that is playing hockey, but the big thing is with the Canucks, and what I like to think that this management group is looking at, you don't want to kill this kid's confidence. We can see over the 2 games with the Canucks since coming up, allowing 6 goals versus the Montreal Canadiens and then versus the Edmonton Oilers. We've seen Adam Foote speak on this as well and say if Kevin Lankinen wasn't dealing with an illness, they would have took him out. But I think the proper thing to do with their 6'6" goaltender is let him play the season out in Abbotsford. We know with the Artur Shilov's trade going to the Pittsburgh Penguins, Tolopilo is stepping in as the starting goaltender for the Abbotsford Canucks, so let the kid continue to develop under Manny Malhotra and their system as he looks to get more confidence and hopefully one day become a starting goaltender. But it does get interesting with DPD, where I do think, and we've seen the quote come from Jim Rutherford, that they want to get as many young guys within this lineup. DPD had a bit of a struggle. They sent him down to Abbotsford to work on his game, play against AHL guys, and call up Victor Mancini to get another young Canucks defenseman in the system. So with this roster move, I do expect Yuri Patera to stay up for quite a bit to be that backup goaltender. We don't know what's happening with Thatcher Demko at this point. Hopefully that's something that's not significant. But if he's out for the rest of the season, we should see Kevin Lankinen, Tolopilo, and Yuri Patera kind of rotate in as they starters or backups with the Canucks. And a lot of defensemen are going to be kind of yo-yoed between both leagues to get them into NHL action. But with that, let's dive straight into it. And first off, what's your thoughts on this down below? Would you rather Tolopilo just be the backup at this point, or do you like the thought of him just kind of flourishing in the AHL to get his groove back? But now let's dive into the reports on Kiefer Sherwood and how it feels eerily similar to what we've seen with Quinn Hughes before he was moved. Now, the big thing is last night, the Saturday headlines, Elliot Freeman spoke on Kiefer Sherwood, and he said, like Hughes, the Canucks are working with Kiefer Sherwood's agents. Now, with Elliot Freeman speaking on this, he goes into a lot of detail on exactly what he means by this, and we can see starting off, the Canucks allowed Quinn's agent to work with them to get the trade done. The same thing is now happening for Sherwood. Now, this is actually the second Canuck at the moment that is letting their agents work with the team to get a trade going through. We know with Lucas Reichel in the AHL, they were granted permission as well. But with Kiefer Sherwood, one of the biggest names on the market, a lot of teams are circling the water like sharks looking at blood. As the Canucks continue to sink, this is a team that wants to prioritize the draft, and I completely agree with it. And moving on from Kiefer Sherwood, as much as it sucks to say, is something that's going to happen this season. 17 goals in 44 games. Kiefer Sherwood has been on a bit of a dry spell now with the Canucks. I mean, even just going back to this game last night, where they allowed 6 goals and did not get a goal themselves. A lot of Canucks are struggling. This is going to be a loud locker room with all the outside noise. When you're sitting there hearing your name in different murmurs from different places, this is going to be a recipe of maybe not playing to your full potential, but a lot of teams are looking. We can see Jeff Merrick speak as well. Right now, the marketplace is saying not a first round pick for Kiefer Sherwood. Be patient, and maybe the action happens in a month when there's a new reality heading into the deadline. Now, with this, a lot of teams are looking at Kiefer Sherwood now and the Vancouver Canucks. We know the Canucks asking price was originally a first round pick and a prospect, and we're seeing trades start. I mean, Rasmus Andersson was just traded from the Calgary Flames to the Vegas Golden Knights, and we hate to see either of these teams succeed, but it feels like the dominoes are starting to fall. And at one point, the Canucks were painted as the first domino that a lot of people expected to start the fire sale. Now, of course, Quinn Hughes being the first domino in the NHL to fall. But going further in, Elliot Friedman says there's a bunch of teams in there, and it's a couple of people call it poker. Everyone is sitting here right now. There's definitely an interest, and it's going to come down to whether someone wants to step forward. Now, with a lot of teams looking at adding at this year's deadline, there's a lot of teams that want to be contenders. Of course, Vegas just went out to trade potentially first round picks for Rasmus Andersson. Teams are taking this as a notice. Teams want to add as quick as possible, and we know this management group does not like waiting. We see a lot of the trades not only happen on a Friday night, which we hate to see, especially if you're heading out, but this is the team that wants to add that draft capital. Now having their own and Minnesota's first with their own second that could potentially be technically a first round pick, with Ottawa forfeiting their first. The Canucks are in a good position, but adding more draft capital, another prospect for Kiefer Sherwood, jumpstarts where this team is. With so many teams right now in on this, like I said, Elliot Friedman speaking on it, Jeff Merrick speaking on it, Kiefer Sherwood is going to be someone that it feels like it's going to be a matter of when and not if, and we know he's going to be moved out, but I think at this point, teams are really going to get hungry. Heading into the Olympic break, we know teams might want to wait, but teams want to add as much as they can, and as soon as someone presents exactly what the Canucks are asking for, I've seen so many people say the San Jose Sharks, yes, they're looking on Kiefer Sherwood, and they just placed one of their defensemen in Nick Leddy on waivers, so maybe that's clearing a roster spot or opening room to get Kiefer Sherwood, though it's a 1.5. It's an incredible contract and an incredible player, but at the end of the day, Canucks fans, what is your thoughts on this? What is your thoughts on the Canucks just giving permission to Kiefer's agents to now speak to other teams? Do you think this speeds the process up? Could this be a situation where we see Kiefer's agents speak to a team in the NHL? They say, hey, we would love to sign an extension. Maybe that's what it takes for the Canucks and another team to agree on this new deal that they want to make with a forward. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments on all of this, and you could be featured on Comment of the Day. Speaking of Comment of the Day, though, let's go straight into it. Trade Kane for Kuzmenko. Now, I did a video yesterday speaking on how Evander Kane has been linked to the LA Kings with Ken Holland, his former general manager, now being at the helm with the Kings. This is interesting because we've seen Petey's best year come with Kuzmenko. He got scratched a couple times with LA this year. I would not mind taking the chance. If you can rejuvenate both of their careers, that would be insane, and especially at the only cost of Kane. But let me know all your thoughts. What trade would you like to see? What do you think the value is? How many times or picks do the Canucks end this year with? Is it going to be 10 first-round picks? Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. But that'd be it, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been your host, Mark, and take care.